I'm going crazy. 무뎌져.
After he suddenly disappeared, Jungkook looked around for you. In every corner of the club, washrooms, every private room, but you were nowhere to be found. He gulped, brushing his hair back. He was sweating really bad. He was standing in the last washroom looking for you. After not finding you there, he turned to go out from there, but he felt something underneath his shoe. He stepped back to find a shining thing. His eyes widened and he quickly picked it up. Wyan, that bracelet was yours. It was a gift from your father. Your mother always used to wear this bracelet, and when you became an adult, your father gave you this bracelet to take care of it on your birthday. His breath hitched, thinking you will never drop it, being careless, even in your dreams. Something really happened to you. Without any second option, he ran out and called his youngs to inform them. He knew Suga was going to him after hearing this, but the only thing he cared about was you. You, were you drunk or what? I told you to never leave her side. Suga took his hanger out, growling at the young guest who was looking down, while Namjoon was holding Suga tightly, otherwise he will beat the shit out of Jungkook. I know this is my mistake, Young. You can punish me later, but for now, we need to fight Vayan. He said with all guilt and sorrowful voice. Jungkook is right, Suga. This is not time for a fight, but we need to find her. Suga released himself from Namjoon's grip and stood straight, nodding. Let's check CCTV footage. And you tried to call her? Yes, I did, but it switched off. Suga rubbed his face, closing his eyes. His head was having a blast of pain. He felt like a loser brother who wasn't able to protect his only sister. We have a professional hacker in our team. Maybe he can help us out. Then call him fast. We will go to the control room of CCTV cameras. They walked out of the room while Chung looked at the bracelet in his hand. His heart was hurting. He wanted to scream your name and tell you to run to him, and he would hug you so tight and never leave you again. He will keep you like you are the most precious and special one in the whole world. For him, I'll find you soon. I promise, my love. Taeyang, one of our best hackers, he has even sneaked into government official documents by his hacking. So what's the subject? He asked, sitting on a chair with his laptop and some other things. Trace this number. It's switched off from half an hour. Taeyang typed the number while chewing on his gum. While Jin was looking through a CCTV camera, they knew very sharply where and on which place the cameras are installed. That means we know that person very well, and he or she too. Then check the cameras that are not installed by us. Not this road. Check the U-turn one. Suga glared at him, Chung gulped, but didn't show how scared he was. That road is empty, and this one has traffic. The kidnapper will never choose the traffic track. Right, check the other one. And why the heck are you taking so much time? He burst on Taeyang, who was typing very vigorously. This is a computer, not your human brain, bro. Have patience. Jin patted Suga's shoulder. Wait, what's that car? Suga quickly looked at the footage Chung pointed at. Which one? This. I saw this car somewhere. Where? Chung rubbed his forehead, thinking, where? Just then he remembered. Sora uses this car. I saw this same car outside the restaurant I brought Vayan to. And she was there too. That Wu's daughter? Chung nodded. Wu, That old man still has problems with Vayan's dad. See where this car is going. Boss? Taeyang called, and all of them looked at him. Her SIM card is still active. It's not damaged. I tracked it, but what? There is nothing. What do you mean by nothing? Look yourself. There is nothing. No building, no home. Only a highway road. That possibly means they threw her phone on the way. Then they must have passed through this way. Which route is this? Taeyang checked and clicked finally. This route goes to Coachella Forest on Jeju Island. Coachella Forest. I will check if there's a property under Wu's there. Boss, when there is no more footage of the car, Chung looked at Suga, who was walking back and forth. He clenched his fist, thinking should he go to him or not. Gulping a hard lump, he walked towards him. Hyung. Suga looked at him, but this time he didn't glare at him, but his eyes were emotionless. Chung held his hand in his. I know I made a mistake, but please trust me. I will save her or my life. I will prove to you that you can trust me. Chung was looking down because his eyes had tears. He didn't cry easily in front of anyone, but he can't see his Hyung in pain. That's his biggest weakness. Suga cupped his cheek and looked at his face. I didn't raise my Chung to be this weak and cry easily in front of me. Chung hugged him. Suga hugged him back. How can I not trust you? I have been raising you with my own hands. It's just another difficult time for us. It will pass out soon. He patted his back, relaxing the youngest. I found it. Whose property there? Namjoon ran into the room in a hurry. Chung sadly smiled. Let's get our Vian back. Boss, take me with you. They turned to look at him and gestured for him to come along. They went to Jeju Island by their private jet because it will take at least an hour and a half, but by car it can take many hours. The area they were going to was under their enemy, surrounded by multiple men, standing for guard, and covered with huge forest trees. Reaching near Woo's property, they all hid behind bushes. It was a big wooden forest house that was all surrounded by woods. Man, they all are wearing Woo's badge. That means we were right. We need to confirm if Vian is inside there or not. They all looked at Taeyang. He looked behind himself. There was no one, so he pointed at himself. Me? Yes, you. They haven't seen you in our team, so go to them as like a lost tourist in the forest and get the info. But boss, I'm a hacker, not an actor, he said with a pout and big eyes. Chung gripped his collar, giving him death glares. Do it or? Yeah, leave me, muscle monster. Okay, I will do it. Show us victory sign if Vian is there. He walked out of the bushes while Jungkook, Suga, Namjoon, Jin, and their men were hiding. I shouldn't have come here. I'm innocent, he whispered to himself. Hey, who are you? One of Woo's men asked him. Taeyang acted like he was lost tourist and wanted to ask for a way. Hi brother, I was here for a tour with my colleagues, but I was lost. Suddenly here and saw this home. What? What's your name? Kim Taeyang, brother. Please help. He shot his puppy eyes to them. They nodded, looking at each other. Look, you can't go inside, but you need tell us here. Just then, another man came out from the house and whispered something in the guard ear. Taeyang leaned to hear it. Boss, that girl just woke up. She is yelling and crying to go out. Make her shut and call Boss back. Other man nodded and went. Taeyang confirmed that it was Vian. Hey brother, I have a nickname too. What? We. He made a victory sign on his eye. Suga gestured all his men to be ready for attack. So what should I do with this we? Save your life. What? As he said that, suddenly some men started to come out of the bushes, running with guns and knives in their hands. Bye. Taeyang ran from there and fight started. Suga and Jin came from the front, fighting with guards, while Namjoon went from the other side with his men, and Jung chose to go from the left side. Chung slowly took his step from the left side. He was holding his loaded gun in his hand, with his sharp sight, looking around. Suddenly 3 men came in front of him. One of them tried to make Chung fall, but Chung dodged him and cracked his ankle, punched him in the jaw. Then he fought with other two too, throwing their bodies down on the rocks beside him. He entered inside the living room where almost 10 men were waiting for him. He aimed his gun at them, hiding behind the couch. None of his men was still inside the house, as many men went out to fight them. Jungkook, 5 men with bullets, and then came out as his gun was out of bullet, fighting with guards. Suddenly he felt a gun behind his head. Jun, so nice to meet you. Jung knew the voice of person. He was shocked and processing. When the person behind him kicked his leg, Jung turned to see Jimin. His eyes doesn't have any rage or anger, but his eyes were soft. But John got shocked. I'm alive. Well, thanks to Woo, he saved me. Chung shook his head. That's not true. But before Chung could say more, Jimin started to beat him. Chung was not fighting. He was just saving himself from Jimin's move. Chung stopped. Chung yelled, but Jimin didn't stop. Chung sighed and started to fight with Jimin. He needed to save Vian before, then he will deal with Jimin, he thought. Jungkook was somehow more powerful than Jimin in fight. Lol, how can he not? They trained Tai Chi together. And always Jimin was his biggest opponent. But today it was different. Today he wasn't fighting with his own, but another person. Suddenly Jimin's head hit the wooden pillar. He fell down. Sorry Hung, I need to save Vian. Chung ran away from there. Jimin took his phone out from his pocket, dialing a number. His head was bleeding. Shoot her. She shouldn't stay alive or I will. He ordered to snap, sitting away from the house. Just then Taeyang entered with Namjoon. All men were inside. Thank's eyes fell on Jimin's injured figure. His eyes widened. Jimin, he yelled. Jimin had snapped hearing his brother's voice. He was shocked. Thang, you're alive? Turned around to him, sitting beside him, checking his wounds. Jimin looked at Namjoon, who was also shocked to see him. What are you doing with them? Jimin asked with anger and rage. Thang looked at Namjoon and then Jimin. Jimin, what do you mean? They saved me. We tried to find you so much after our incident, but you went lost. Jimin was confused because Woo told him that Jeon and Kim were the one who did this, and his brother accident, and then his brother. Then was that a lie? But Woo lied to you. Suddenly they heard Suga's voice, who was sweating, and Jin beside him was checking all bodies. Lied? Yes, lied. My secret man gave me information about it, that Woo have one of our old member, and he had lied to him. But I didn't know it was you, and after Uncle's death, everything went so fast that I forgot to investigate about it. Jimin was whole shocked now. This whole time Woo just used him by lying. He was going to his own childhood best friend, and Jungkook just on his eyes widened. Jungkook, run! I called sniper to shoot them. Their eyes widened, they ran towards stairs. A while ago when Jungkook left Jimin there and ran to upstairs, he found some guards there too. He threw them down from the stairs and ran into the room they were guarding. As he entered, he saw your appetite figure sitting beside bed, looking down all scared. Voyan. As you heard his voice, you looked up with tears in your eyes. He ran to you and opened the rope round your hands and legs. Throwing the rope away, he made you stood up. You hugged him. Jungkook, he tightly hugged you back, taking your figure in his arms, securing you from the cruel world. Calm down, I'm here, okay? I'm here. You were clenching over his leather jacket, crying hysterically. After that washroom scene, you found yourself here, all tied up. You weren't able to do anything. You were all scared that who brought you here and why. It's okay, Youngs are here too. We will leave this place. You noticed stepping some inch back from him. You noticed he had wounds on his face. Jungkook, you are injured. He cupped your face and pecked your forehead. These are just minor injuries, nothing much. You trailed your fingers up to his injured face, his lips, corner, and his cheeks. Jung smiled at you. He looked at your surroundings to see the play. Suddenly his eyes saw a figure from the glass window. He sharply looked at the person, his eyes widened when he noticed who the person was. It was a sniper shooter, setting his position to fire. Jung looked at you, who was staring at him, and then up to the sniper shooter. He tightly hugged you. You hugged him back, thinking he missed you so much like you did. Suddenly he turned, standing on your place, and made you stand on his place. Just then you heard the glass window breaking by 2 shots by sniper. You were freezed as Jungkook's arm tightly gripped you. As his body jolted back by the repel force, your hands were shaking and you were shivering as your eyes don't want to see. The scene just happened. Just then Suga and Ada entered the room. Taeyang was holding Jimin by his shoulder. All of them froze, watching the scene in front of them. Jungkook's arms loosened around you. You shook your head, not feeling his warmth around you anymore. His fingers slowly fell from your hands. You felt earth slipping under your feet. He lost his energy and fell down. You quickly kneeled down, placing his head on your lap. Jungkook, he choked on your tears. You felt your hand getting wet. As you looked at your hand, it was fully red with his... No. You cupped his face, shaking his body. Jungkook, look at me. He was slowly closing his eyes. Everything was getting blurry in his sight. But he forcefully opened his eyes to look at you. He moved his hand. There was no energy left, but he managed to control his mind and move his hand to your face. You want to tell something? You asked. He slightly nodded. His hand cupped your face. Your tears were dropping non-stop. He gulped, trying to talk. Remember? I wanted to tell you something. You quickly nodded your head. Yes, you said you will say it at the right time. He chuckled. Yes, right time. Mine from childhood. I saw you as my best friend. But as we grew up, I started to have feelings for you. I fall for you, wanted to make you mine. I love you. He finally said those words because he was afraid that if he doesn't want to go without confessing. You were not shocked but happy because you loved him too. But always the situation makes it remain in your heart. I love you too, Jungkook. I love you too. He said without wasting time. He smiled like he achieved his biggest goal. Great, now I can live peacefully. He smiled. You shook your head as I started to get close again. No, Jungkook, no. Upas, save Jungkook. You looked at your brother, who was snubbed, watching his little one whom he raised himself in this situation. His mind was working. Wan felt Jungkook's hand sliding back from her cheek. She grabbed it tightly. Jungkook, don't close your eyes, please. But suddenly his body became lifeless. His arm fell freely on the other side. Your world stopped. Jungkook, don't leave me.